What's up, YouTube? We're three simple men making our way through the galaxy. It's us, Tom, Ryan, and Mike. And we've just concluded the Acolyte, and we are back in the Clone Wars. Feels like a lifetime ago since we watched a Clone Wars episode.
It's nice to be back.
Like 8 weeks or something. So yeah, it definitely feels like a long time.
General Grievous is just like, I just hate you, Jedi. Don't ask me why I do this. I just hate you.
Yeah. Did we say the name of the episode and what we're watching?
Nope. It's
Grievous Intrigued?
season 2, episode 9.
Grievous Intrigue. And the quote was, "For everything you gain, you lose something else." Which I think pretty much sums up the episode. We do get a lot of I don't want to say new Jedi, but at least I think new Jedi to the Clone Wars. We might have seen them in live action form in the past, but we get who do we get? We get Eth Koth.
Yeah.
We get Adi Gallia.
Adi Gallia.
Gallia. Did you notice Tara Subi?
Tara Sue,
Tanubi.
he's gonna play a role later on in the episodes, I believe.
Yeah, but I did see him in the background, so just some new Jedi faces, I'll say. We almost see all the Jedi actually, because they have this whole council meeting, and I mean, you got a little bit of everybody in there, whether in hologram form or not. But yeah, I guess the whole plot of this one is Koth gets captured by Grievous after putting up a pretty decent fight. I mean, he holds his own for a while, takes out a bunch of commando droids. And then unfortunately
shot in the hand, yeah. But as soon as he got the advantage over Grievous by pushing him into the blast, and that's when you see him not fighting fair, and you see the Magnum guards electrifying him, and took like 3 or 4 to really put him down. Because like even after getting shocked, he still blocking Grievous' attacks.
Yeah, I think if it was a true one-on-one, I think Grievous would have been done.
Can we talk about Grievous's entrance against Eth Koth versus Obi-Wan? I was saying to myself watching, I'm like, why is he only using one lightsaber to open up the door, cut a circle in, and then all of a sudden I'm like, why doesn't he has 4? He can just do it, and then next thing you know, he does it the next time, and I'm like,
I think it's probably because of the whole, me and Obi-Wan have the history. It's like I want the pleasure of killing him face to face, and yeah, he's just doing it for style, I guess.
He doesn't even pull out all 4 lightsabers against Koth, but he does when fighting Obi-Wan.
I think it was on an Israel rail when they were playing Battlefront 2. Like people were playing Battlefront 2, and you see someone as Leia, Luke, and Han, and all of them. They're like, run, 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 run. Why we run? You see Grievous just crawling, and then all of a sudden pulls out the 4 lightsabers. Like, oh, that's why.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little creepy, the crawl. I'll give it that. And then we get and then you even kind of have like the little, I'd say, horror-esque moment where Obi-Wan calls Cody and says he's coming towards you, and you hear like the ting 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 of his like spidery legs like coming down the hallway before he shows up. So it was definitely a little cool thing they added there. So I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on this? I felt like Anakin acted very much out of character from his normal self this episode. He as soon as he hears that like, hey, Grievous is gonna get away, instead of being like, all right, Koth, you're on your own, like get back to the ship, we're gonna go after Grievous, and like running kind of head first, he tells Addie like, go, I'll stay with Koth and I'll get him to safety, which I just feel like that's not Anakin. Anakin usually is like, we got this opportunity to take down Grievous. We gotta take it at all costs.
It's so unorthodox of them, but I love the fact that when they were doing these shows, their whole main premises was to make sure they never actually come face to face until episode 3 while they get captured.
Yeah,
Anakin and Grievous, right?
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
They know about each other. They just never met face to face. So I love that whole thing with Dave Filoni. He's just like trying to make sure they never They'll never meet because it defeats that famous line.
Fine, yeah.
You're much shorter than I expected.
Yeah, that definitely so yeah, that I mean that does make sense why he didn't go running after him and stuff and chose to do that. But again, it kind of shows that uh you got to sacrifice some usual character decisions because you're playing around with a prequel to something that or something in between. So it's interesting. It kind of aids to the fact that the storytelling was not linear, right? Or at least didn't come out chronologically like how we're watching it. Other things were released first, so it's kind of fun to see how that kind of unfolds and the little nuances.
Yeah, and surprisingly enough, Grievous was one step ahead of the Jedi this time because like he was like calling Obi-Wan out. It's like, yeah, if Kenobi's here, Skywalker's not far behind, and given that they didn't see him there, it's like, oh, he's got a trick up his sleeve. Like, has he rescued Master Coffee yet? So you can see that they were prepared. But even with the tactical droid and commando droids, there were no match for Anakin and Nadi, and tactical droid was being very cocky, given that everything was planned 100% according to Grievous, and here he is, right, one zap away from potentially killing Master Koth, and he loses his arm in the process, and ultimately gets chopped up. So
I feel like a little bit of both of Grievous knows like this is something that they do, and also the other part of me that says this is probably like a just random thing that everyone in the galaxy here is like, oh, who's leading the battle? Master Kenobi. So that means Anakin's not that far behind because those two cannot be a part of each other. It's like they're always so close. It's like so all right, so we're gonna do with the civil side with Master Kenobi, or do you want Agent of Chaos Anakin?
I do think that we got in this episode, I feel like the best version of Grievous so far. I feel like a lot of his other appearances have always ended with him running away from all his droids in the battle. I mean, he does also at the end of this run away also, but strategically he's, like we said, he's a step ahead of the Jedi. He knew exactly what was happening. He was accurate and correct. And he puts up some pretty serious fights. I mean, Obi-Wan really holds his own with one lightsaber and a little bit of a little electric baton until that gets destroyed.
Magnet staff, I think.
But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we do see Grievous being Grievous, and he's fleeing, and this time in an escape pod to Salakami,
landing craft, yeah.
Saleucami.
Salakami, Salukami,
Saleucami.
Salukami. So bad with the names.
Kami Suladi. What?
But yeah, so I mean, it's definitely I think a fun episode to get back into. Um, again with the caveat that our last 8 episodes were a trip back in time because they were not viewed as chronologically as they could have been, but that's the nature of new stuff coming out. So that is going to happen. Um, I'm wondering if anything, it should be interesting to point out now in the future what we come upon and if anything from the Acolyte has ramifications or implications in what we're watching. Um, I don't know if it will. I could think of maybe some things that might be worth discussing when we get to it, and maybe even talking about the Acolyte a little bit. But we'll see. Um, but yeah, chronological wise, we don't really know um, how the Acolyte affects the rest of the story of the story being the whole of Star Wars. Um, but yeah, I mean, I thought this was a good episode to get back into the Clone Wars. It was fun, a lot of action, a little strategy, a little bit of everybody. For some reason, they had a bunch of younglings standing in a room watching a briefing, which was
The Jedi getting tortured, yeah, that's
yeah,
The following message you're about to watch is rated PG-13. If you have young viewers, please kick them out now.
that was a weird moment
Mhm.
that they added just then
I
because
thought an interesting moment was that conversation between Grievous and Obi-Wan, where it's just like, I don't care for the Jedi's politics. I want to see you all dead. I don't care for Dooku's politics. I don't care about the droid. Well, first of all, he's saying I'm the leader of the most powerful droid army. I'm like, no, you're second in command. Dooku's still number one.
Mm.
So know your place.
Sounds like he just wants power and dead Jedi.
And Obi-Wan calls him an errand boy. Yep.
I'm here to kill Jedi and chew bubblegum. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
That's Grievous.
Mhm.
Going back to the quote, for everything you gain, you lose something else. I mean, I guess it's strictly talking about, quite literally, they gained Koth back and lost Grievous by
Mhm.
doing so. So, um, yeah, I mean, I think is our next episode going to continue this story of Grievous or no?
Yep, I think the next episode we'll see the ground assault and Slipknot.
All right.
Also, I gotta say, I just realized I thought about it. It's like Obi-Wan and all of them were so focused on capturing Grievous, and at the end, it was pretty much like it took some people wisdom to like, hey, we gotta go. There's always another day. And then Anakin comes out of nowhere. It's just like, at least we live to fight another day. I'm like, when did you become the wise one right now? I'm like, isn't your thing, isn't your shtick, isn't your spiel to be like, let's go in head first, kick ass, take names, and then ask questions later?
I guess we can say that we're watching Anakin mature a little bit.
Mhm.
Maybe he's growing. We'll see if he relapses or not. Who knows? But that's what chronologically watching it'll show us.
Yeah. Um, it was interesting that with the way Republic intelligence thought that Obi-Wan was able to decipher the coordinates based on Heath Cloth's hand signals and getting that out, because I think Yoda made a point that Republic intelligence has been off. And
Also, I wanted to bring that up too, because I'm thinking, like, do you think that was a shot at Chancellor Palpatine? Because we've seen a lot of it's like our Republic intelligence is telling us this. I'm like, your intelligence has told us a lot of things that were completely fucking bullshit.
I think Yoda's starting to be a little more suspect that like, you know,
they
especially whatever
appreciate the
information and
strategy that
getting it.
Grievous
I
is to
mean,
be
because
taken out. It's like for that we're agreed.
Hey, Palpy, bro, you're being sus right now.
yeah, and I mean, because we know that Palpatine is absolutely feeding false information on whereabouts and locations, and
Yeah,
um,
enough Jedi to get ambushed by Grievous. Yeah.
yep. So, all right. Anything else, fellas?
Nice to see a Jedi Master use his lightsaber on a console with. Actually, no, I take that back. We saw him in the Battle of Geonosis.
A couple Jedi met. Oh well, right? Is Addie also on the Jedi Council or no?
Yeah, she is. I think it was like I was like thinking, I was like, we never really seen him use his lightsaber, and I'm reverting back to like, oh no, wait, there was the Battle of Geonosis. So I'm like, yeah, we saw him in that circle. Like,
Yeah,
okay,
there,
I
yeah.
take that back.
Yeah.
All right, Mike.
That's a wrap. Thank you everyone for joining Three Simple Men, making your way through the galaxy. Hit that like, comment, subscribe, and come back next week for some more Clone Wars content. May the force be with you always.